All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get started so that there's not this like awkward pause. So if you need to start over, go ahead and start over. Hi, Elizabeth. My name is Johanna Luna, and I am so grateful Chelsea asked me to come on here and pour into you guys a little bit. I wanna share just a little bit about my story because it's relevant to what we're gonna talk about tonight. I have been with Scentsy officially since 2015. I started the very last day of April in 2015, and I remember my sponsor being so mad at me because she asked me to wait because there was going to be a join special coming the next day, and in true Johanna Luna fashion, I did what I wanted to do and I did it anyway. But no regrets. I still joined and had a rock star experience from the beginning. I joined, I started off strong. I hit shooting star. I think I promoted to star consultant within 2 months, and then it kind of fizzled off, right? So why did that happen? Well, probably the same reason it happens to a lot of our consultants. You exhaust those people that you know right away, your warm network, and I didn't have effective coaching from the beginning, and I don't mean that as any disrespect from my sponsor, but at the time that I joined, she was still relatively new, and we didn't have the resources that we have now. We didn't have leaders like Chelsea and Chloe and Rachel Pence and all of the people that we have now that share so much information out there, to really make Scentsy what it is today. So I stayed in for about a year. I was a Scentsy consultant for about a year, but mainly as a hobbyist, just to get my Scentsy at a discount. I would put in bulk orders for friends and family, but that's about it. I really wasn't working my business as a business. Fast forward to the beginning of 2017, life got in the way. My 9-to-5 was crazy, and I decided, you know what? Scentsy was going to go on the back burner. Here's the problem, friends, with the back burner. Don't ever do it, or if you do it, make sure that you are still maintaining it, because those things that are on the back burner will eventually either boil over or they will burn. So you need to make sure that you are paying attention to it and still tending to it a little bit. Learn to rest, don't quit, because that's exactly what ended up happening. I ended up quitting. I went inactive, and it wasn't until August of 2017 when my stash got real low that I decided to really make a go of this and say I'm going to join again because I wasn't going to give somebody else 25%. So here I am. I reinstate in August of 2017. And then I kind of talked to a few people. I promoted to star again. No, I take that back. I promoted to lead my first month back. And then I was $40 away from star that next month, and I didn't do it because I got real sure of myself and I was just going to get it the next month. And it wasn't until that following February that I promoted back to star. So, and then it took me a year after that to promote to superstar consultant. So that was in 2019 that I promoted to superstar consultant. And then it wasn't until a couple of months later that I hit director. After I hit director in June of 2019, things got real serious for me. Now, before that, I had earned Reach for the Beach Mexico, so I was doing the right things. I was recruiting and I was selling. I was taking it more seriously as a business, but I didn't really have anybody sit down and talk to me about time management. I had people lecture me about burnout and don't burn out, but no one ever took the time to explain to me what that was and how it could possibly happen. I still push myself to this day to the point where it's almost not good, but I have learned a little bit more to listen to my body cues and to listen to my mental exhaustion to know when enough is enough and I need a break. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about tonight, because it is so, so important as we go into this most critical season of our business. It's an incentive period. We are in a season of hyper growth. There are so many new exciting things happening, and fall, winter traditionally has been our busiest season. So friends, those of you who have seen it happen before, because you've been around at least one other fall winter season and you know what fall magic is, Or if you're new and you're just going off of what we've had for spring and summer, imagine what the fall and winter season is going to be right now with this fall, with this hyper growth, right? If our spring was this way, what is our fall going to be? So you really have to get a handle on this before it takes you over. So just by a show in comments or by hearts or likes, I want you guys to tell me if you have a time management system or if you have a scalable system, something that you manage every single day, something that you are doing for your business to keep you on track. And friends, I don't mean a simple to-do list that you write out in the morning. I really mean that you have a system in place for how you work your business each and every day. Go ahead and comment below and let me know. And if you don't, that's okay. Most people don't. And that's why this topic is so important. For the longest time in my business, I would sit in my office and fiddle. And I'm going to tell you what, those are not income producing activities. They, most times, I'm going to tell you things like making samples, things like making graphics in Canva. These are all my jams. I love me some samples. I love graphics in Canva. But what I am going to tell you about all of that is that that in itself is not income producing. And it's a big, big waste of time if you don't do something with that, or if you don't have time scheduled to do those things. It really is ineffective, because what's going to happen then is you are going to have moments in your marriage or in your relationship that will become tested, because I'm going to tell you what a spouse sees. A spouse sees you in your office all the time, or on your computer, or on your phone all the time. And if you don't have time set aside for your family or time set aside for your spouse, it's real easy. The days roll into another. We get busy, and oh my gosh, it's the 5th, and oh my gosh, it's the 10th, and it's the 15th, and oh my God, before we know it's the end of the month and it's crunch time and we're working with our teams and doing all the things. Friends, it doesn't work. It might work for a month. It might work for a season. It doesn't work long term. So I want to talk about a few things. The first is my scalable system and what I use in my business. Now, I thought I had pulled all clean pages, but my Monday is not clean. So just ignore this. But the rest of these are clean pages. So this is what my scalable system looks like, okay? There is a different one for each day. And what you see in here is this column right here. This is the things that I do every single Monday or Tuesday or whatever as we go through this. Then there are the things that are broken down by the weeks. So there's week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4. And so what happens is I have set days scheduled for set things. So Monday is my team day. Tuesday is my customer day. Wednesday is the day that I focus on recruits. Thursday is what I call a prep day, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. And Friday is a business day. Yes, I will, Emily. I will post this. So on Monday, for example, every single Monday, I'm going to do the same things. I'm going to follow up on text, emails, or messages that I've missed and I haven't gotten back to, and we'll talk about what that means before you're like, girl, what you mean you got all these messages from your team member that you didn't answer? We'll talk about that. Then I'm going to make sure that I'm on the leadership call for directors and above in the morning. I'm going to send any team incentives or prizes that I haven't sent out yet. Happy mail, that sort of thing. I'm going to schedule all the team posts that I can for the week. That's going to free up time to work on other things instead of me pouring into that page all the time. And then I'm going to send welcome postcards or welcome packets to either my new recruits or people that have joined my team. That's what I do every week. So I make sure that those things are kept up. Then every week, I will update, the first week of the month, I update my planner with month end numbers, which really I don't have to focus on that too much. It's just an adjustment if there was any. Like if anybody had a flip a kit that hasn't, didn't go through right away or whatever, because I track my numbers daily, and we'll talk about that too. Prepare the next month's Centiversary and postcards, prepare prior month. I'm not going to go through everything because you get the point. Like there's certain things to do every week. And then things that you do every Monday. And then, like I said, Tuesday is customer day. So, mailing out extra hostess packages or Facebook party packs or any of that kind of stuff. That's important. Updating my monthly subscription accordingly, anything like that. Posting in my VIP page, posting in my business page, those sorts of things. But the thing about this is that this is a checklist, and this will tell you exactly what you are supposed to be doing on that given day. You don't have to go and be overwhelmed by all of the things. You just do the things as they come in the week. Okay. I also have a dry erase board that I use to plan out my month and to plan out my week with anything special that's coming up, like this call, for example. Any Facebook parties that I have going on during the week, any of that stuff, I will make sure that I have that on the dry erase board. So between these two systems, I make sure that I am following it and I don't get burnt out. So just want to make sure that I'm getting all of the comments. Okay. That's number one, is having the scalable system and making sure that you are following it. The second part of that is setting aside time in your week for your family. And this is something that recently happened in my household. We are coming off of a transition week. We've got all the things happening, or transition month, sorry. Have all the things happening, and I was in here too much. And it caused a stress on my marriage. And I told Chelsea, when I told her what I was going to talk to you guys about today, that I wanted to come from a place of authenticity and tell you guys that even with a system in place, your system is only as good as the amount of times that you're going to use it and as dedicated you are to using it. So it's really important that you set aside time for your husband, your wife, your significant other, your kids. I know that sounds silly to have to schedule in time for your marriage, but it's important. So we agreed Friday nights, I don't work. Friday nights after 5 p.m., I'm turned off. I'm completely shut down because I need to devote that time to my husband. So whether we have a date night in or we go out, it's important that he feels valued and he knows that he's important too, that it's not all Scentsy all the time. And then Sundays, we determined that Sundays from, the time that we wake up and have breakfast and pray together, whatever we're going to do, that time up until the evening is family day. So whether we go for a nature walk or we just spend the day in our pajamas playing board games or whatever it is that we're going to do, that I am completely unplugged and I am tuned into my family. Because guys, this is why we do this. Most of us are doing this towards the freedom of time. We're doing this so that we can have more time. And I can tell you, I am not somebody that does Scentsy full time. I am a working mother. I have a full-time job outside of Scentsy, and I dedicate full-time hours to Scentsy. That's a lot of late nights. It's a lot of any moment I can get to work my Scentsy business, I do, because I'm working it towards trying to be able to do it full time one day. So it's more important for those of us who don't do this full time, even to look at, let me schedule this and make sure that it's planned out. And if you do that, I promise you, if you follow something like this, if you follow a scalable system, you can unplug. It is possible because you're very intentional with your time. If you set aside even 1 hour a day, shut everything off, don't scroll Facebook, make sure you are totally tuned into what you need to do for that hour, friends. Okay. The next thing is, for my leaders, let me tell you, you do not have to answer every question every single minute it comes in. Teach your team members, teach your downline, teach those you mentor to learn how to find the information. I do have some that no matter how much I've taught them, no matter how much I have redirected them to the workstation, to YouTube, to the leaders that I follow, to our group page, which I might be biased, but I think is pretty amazing. To find information, it always comes down to the same thing. They want the information handed to them quicker. Number one, you are a slave to no one, okay? You do not owe anyone an instant message. There is no such thing as a Scentsy emergency. No such thing, okay? There is no such thing as a question that can't wait until you tuck your kids in at night. There is no such thing as a question that can't wait until after your dinner hour, or your family time or that movie you've been wanting to watch. There is no such thing as a Scentsy emergency. Some people I have to let wait for 24 hours, and I hate doing that. I hate doing it, but I just know that if I answer that question right away, it will teach them nothing. And I certainly am not going to answer a question right away that they could have learned or they should have been able to find quickly on their own. And that's the same thing for our customers, right? You have to put a boundary around your time, around your heart, around your soul, because you will burn out. If you feel like you're drained because you can't get a minute to yourself, and it will happen, friends. Like, trust me, I laugh so hard every time I share something with our community, and I love to share. I do. I share all of my ideas. I share all of my time. But it's funny how the minute I share something, I'll get a dozen requests for, can you make this for me? Can you, if I have something with my avatar on it, it's like, do you have one with a blonde? Do you have one that's a guy? Do you have one, like, seriously? I'm not a graphics designer. I am a Scentsy consultant who is sharing something that I want to, inspire others to create something similar for themselves. But you have to learn how to be okay with saying no. You have to learn how to be okay with knowing that what you've given is enough. That what you've given to a new team member when you've trained them how to use the workstation, or to your team, you have to know that you have done enough, because no matter what you do, it'll never be enough for the people that want more from you. Yeah, Emily, great question. So something after 8 p.m., give it till the next day. If that's what your business hours are, because you guys should be setting business hours. You decide when you work. That's why we do this, right? We are the first to tout. Oh, I'm sorry, Emily. I'm so sorry. But we are the first to tout that we are independent business owners and we have no boss. But then we allow our team members and our customers to dictate our hours and to dictate how quickly we respond to things. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. I think that it's really important to set aside time for you, that it's really important to decide what makes you happy and what brings you joy and do more of that. So if that's, going on a walk with your husband, do that. If it's taking a bath every night and some Scentsy soak, do that. If it's having a glass of wine and doing a mask, do that. It doesn't matter, but you need to do something for yourself, okay? The other thing is, you want your team members, your downline, and your customers who are watching you, you want them to want your job. If it looks like at all hours of the day you are on social media posting, if it looks like at all hours of the day you are working and you are doing things that don't seem fun, stop doing that. Stop doing that, because nobody's going to want your job. So that, in a nutshell, is my advice for all of you, is to make sure that if you are going to go hard, but make sure that you go hard intentionally, and that you, because my favorite saying is go all in, right? Go all in with your Scentsy business, but do so in an intentional way. Go all in during your set business hours. Go all in for your checklist, but go all in making sure that what you are doing today can sustain for the long term. Because if you don't, I'm here to tell you, I am proof it's happened to me before. And this past week, even my sponsor, my director, said to me, Jo, you've said to me a couple of times you're not okay, that you're getting stressed out, take a break. And so you know what I did last night? Y'all, I had a million things to do, and I shut down. I put them babies to bed. I put the hubby to bed, and I went downstairs and I watched Hallmark Christmas movies on demand. And I loved every single minute of it. Now, ordinarily, I'd be the first to tell you, like, if you're not where you are, why are you chilling so much? But it is so important for your soul to do those things from time to time, so that you can get up the next day and be ready to rock it. And guess what? I've rocked every single thing on my to-do list today and then some, because I allowed myself a little bit of time to rest yesterday. So go all in this catalog season, but start by figuring out what your system is going to be. I will share mine in this page, but figure out what your system is going to be and how the heck you're going to make it work for you, and how you're going to find time to rest and make time for your family, because at the end of the day, that is what matters most. All right, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to friend request me or reach out to me. Post them in this comment below or in this video below, and I will take a look at it and be sure to answer them as soon as I can. Have a great night, you guys.